that touchdown that Gabe Irvin scored that they didn't count um, on the goal line should have put us up 17-3. Um, that was kind of huge.
Here's the thing, like Nebraska, we're going to start off with Nebraska just because Nebraska never disappoints.
No.
And what I mean by that is I'm watching the game with Naomi, who's not been into any type of college sports at all. And so I'm sort of explaining to her my culture because Big Ten football is my culture. And
ground and pound.
Oh, it's beautiful. In defense, ground and pound in defense.
Yeah.
Stingy defense. They'll let you march all the way from 20 to 20, but once you get inside the 20, you ain't going anywhere. So you better pray you score from outside the 20. That's that's what I've been raised. So we're watching, and so I'm trying to let her know like little things I know about it. And we're watching the Minnesota Nebraska game, and I say, hey, Nebraska's gonna find a way to choke this, and it's like halfway through the first quarter. It just I can't. She went to bed long before it finished, but I stayed up because I knew deep down in my heart Nebraska would do. Nebraska was going to do, and that was absolutely somehow find a way to completely lose that game. Like completely lost it. Who's your defensive coordinator?
Tony White. I think our defense played really well. We shut the run down. We got burned.
They win.
Our secondary took a minute, and we didn't get any. Nebraska's pass rush didn't develop until the third quarter.
Yep, that's strength.
It took a while to get our pass rush there, and so they've got to get better at developing a pass rush from the jump. That touchdown that we got beat on
trash. No, the touchdown you guys got was trash. The broken down.
Yeah, the Tom Osborne play. Yeah. It was broken, but at that point, I needed it. We needed points. Nebraska needed points.
Yeah,
I say we like I play there, but it was Minnesota too. I mean, hell, what are they? The past couple of years, they've been in the top 10 in the country in defense. So I mean, they're no slouch.
No,
but,
true. But in their secondary is their most powerful asset, which you guys struggle against strong secondary defenses.
Well, and this year we have no game changer wide receiver. We don't have Trey Palmer. We don't have 4.3 speed.
Who is the little guy they chucked the ball to on man-on-man coverage? The deep pass, I forget, like third quarter or so, and it got batted away because the corner was just like on him like glue. And I thought to myself,
Billy Kemp,
a little guy. It was a little guy. And I thought to myself, that is not a good sign for Nebraska because that was their fastest guy. They just sent their fastest guy on that go route. And Minnesota, the safety never lost it. Never lost a step. Now, now I could be wrong, but I mean, like it could have been underthrown. But I thought it was in stride. That throw was in stride.
Well, that one over top to Tommy Hill, Jeff Sims underthrew that thing. If he would have thrown it in front, it probably would have been caught, or at least it would have been a better shot. But you're right. I mean. But that was the gamble with bringing Jeff Sims in is he's with his legs, he's electric. But
it's not a bad thing because for the first time in maybe 5 years, I've seen a decent run game develop. Now, I don't know about here's the thing. I don't know about Golden Gophers D-line. Like maybe they're just a shitty D-line too. I don't know. It didn't seem like their linebacker core was strong, but God damn it, you guys were. I mean, what happened? Like, what were you thinking in the fourth quarter when they were doing the 4 wide and the running back running the little go route underneath, and they were just nickel and diming you down the field for 10, 15 yards. And you could not stop it.
No. Well, like I said, we couldn't get pressure, so he had time to find. And we're running that 3-3-5 this year. It's the first year we're running the 3-3-5, so it's gonna take some time to gel. I thought for the most part our defense played really well. I think
they did play well. But when it mattered in the fourth quarter, there was no adjustment to that play. And I don't know, like if it was a mode where they weren't subbing out, and so they were just like, hurry up, because it was working. But I mean, take a timeout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take a timeout.
But also we had to burn 2 timeouts, I think, for delay of clock on the offense. So I think we only had 1. And he wanted to save that for the end if we needed a kick. But you're right. I mean, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the defense this year. I think that unit will come through and get stronger as we go. It's the offense that scares me to death, because when I was watching Jeff Sims, it was high school football. I'm going to lock on to one guy. You could tell many times he'd hike, and his eyes were just here, there was no scanning the field. It was, I'm going to look one read, and it's going to be one read. And they picked him off 3 times because of that. I mean, he didn't look anybody off. He just, he's got to do better with the ball. He's got to be able
he can't do that.
Defense and figure out where to go with it, chuck it out of bounds, do something. The other thing that blows my mind is Anthony Grant was in the doghouse this summer, and fall for fumbling issues, right? Matt Rule kept saying he's got fumbling issues, he's got ball security issues. He needs to get that right or he's not going to play for me. And then the crucial time he's in the game, they give him the ball and he fumbles. He gets it punched out because he's carrying it like a loose bag of bread. And I'm just like, what? Rule, you just said that he's had fumbling issues and you put him in. Ride the shit out of Gabe Ervin. I love Ramir Johnson. That little third down scat back that we got. Run with those 2. Run with Jeff Sims. That's what was working. Don't put Anthony Grant in at like a 2.3 clip per carry and just,
Well, the guy needs a breather, man. Like, obviously needed a breather. Like, just
Jeff Sims?
Yeah.
But you got 2 other running backs that don't have, ball security issues. I don't know. I thought that was puzzling.
What style of offense is Nebraska trying to run this year? I don't know what Rule is. Like, is he pro style, or is he like wishbone, or is he believe in 2 running backs at all times type of? I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this offense. Like, are they going to?
I don't know. I don't think we have an idea.
Who's your offensive?
Satterfield from South Carolina. Remember, they hung South Carolina's last 2 games hung 40 plus on Clemson and Tennessee with Satterfield. So everyone thought, okay, well, damn, like if we get that, Satterfield will be okay. But I mean, it kind of scares me because we go back to last year and our offense has no identity. We don't know what we're going to be. And all the podcasts and everything, the radio shows I was listening to, that's what everybody's concern was week 1 was we couldn't – watching the game, you couldn't tell what our real identity is, because I think Matt Rule likes to slow it down, likes to run, likes to pound the ball. But, I mean, there's just a couple like our wide receiver core this year, we're extremely young, and we're gonna have to have guys develop and step up to be more balanced, or they're just gonna load the box and they're gonna say, okay, dare to please throw a pass to beat us, and then it's gonna come on Jeff Sims to hope that he doesn't go into his Georgia Tech habits and just start throwing picks.
And I'm going to just transition this to Iowa football to tie it in. But when you talk about those concerns, I never have to worry about that as a Hawkeye fan. I never have to worry that it's going to come to the quarterback to have to win us a game. Never. Never.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of annoying because there's the thrill of a good quarterback getting it done, right? The Stanzi, the Beathard, in the moments where you needed a quarterback to convert a 3rd and 9.
5.
Yeah, or yes, you had that ability. But at the same time, when he threw that pick, just bad, not enough power to get it there is what that throw was, right? And him thinking he could get it there before the corner got there and being completely wrong on how strong his arm was. Like, that was like, as a Husker fan, it had to have been just like a dagger in the heart.
It was.
This is life again. This is our life again, which brought me great joy thinking of that.
I know it did. Yeah. Trust me, I had to turn my phone off. I live in SEC country, and all these turd Vol fans, all they want to do is talk smack. They have one good year, and then they want to act like they haven't lived in the basement with the rest of us in mediocrity. They're like, "Oh, I'm high and mighty. Us Tennessee Vols, we're awesome." And I'm just like, ooh, act tough, SEC. That's why you play, the School of Blind and Mary Moses weeks 1, 2, and 3.
That way. This is okay. So Big Ten news. We've picked up two more teams at the Big Ten. So now we're at 4. We've added on.
Yep.
And there's talks of Clemson and Florida State wanting to get out of the ACC, which more the SEC, them going to the SEC makes more sense to me, but I don't know.
But I don't know with the SEC with already having South Carolina and Florida, they'd have to come off their high horse and not allow another. Because that was their big thing, right? I thought the SEC was like, hey, we're not going to, we don't want to have your in-state rivals in the SEC. I think that's why with the whole Texas and Texas A&M thing, I think that's kind of ruffled some feathers. But now that none of that matters. Everyone cares about the money. It doesn't. If the Big Ten can get Clemson and Florida State, that makes the reach even better. Eventually, it's going to come down to 2 massive conferences, and that's just what it's going to be. I mean, everyone talks about this relegation system that like soccer does. I think eventually that's what it'll come down to is like the top 40, 50 teams that have the finances and the means to put competitive teams and facilities and all that out there. I think that'll be a thing. And then if you lose, you'll get relegated. And if you're in the other group, if you win, you'll get bumped up. And then it just kind of plays like that, which I think would make it really interesting. Because I think,
the South Dakota Jackrabbits would be bumped up since they won FBS national championship last year.
Or, like it'd be, like if our teams, if Iowa or Nebraska had a bad year, we'd get bumped down to like the Mountain West, and we'd have to like run the Mountain West. And then if we win that, then we would get relegated back up and someone would get bumped down, and it'd go for everybody, I think it'd be kind of neat. I
haven't heard that idea, but that's actually a really cool concept. Okay, so in the meantime, though, I'm very excited because I feel like looking at how Nebraska plays football now compared to when they came into the league. What was it? 8 years ago? 9 years ago?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, something like that, or almost 10. Yeah, you're right there.
Right. So you see this transformation of Nebraska football from what it was in the Big 12 when it left to now it looked like a legitimate bruiser team, a legitimate bruiser team. So
our first couple of years in the Big Ten were
rough.
We thought we had that for the first 2 that we thought we were, or the first one we thought we were going to compete. But yeah, it's been.
You guys just weren't recruiting real football players, you were recruiting Big 12 competition, which back at that time, that was RG3, for Baylor. That was Oklahoma with the passing threat of, putting up crazy points on teams that had never been done before with Bob Stoops and stuff.
60 points a game, but 58 points allowed on defense.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you came to the Big Ten, and everyone thought that offense was going to translate, and it didn't translate. I remember thinking that, immediately when I saw your quarterback, I'm like, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Like, the poor little fella's going to die. He can't play football here. But now you're a bruiser team, right? And like, you can compete with good bruiser teams. And now we're getting USC. I'm more worried about Washington. I feel like Washington.
They're going to be good. I think Washington is going to be a threat.
Yes. Yeah. Oregon, not worried.
Yeah.
USC. Now I'm more worried about UCLA playing in the Big Ten than I am USC. I feel like UCLA
can get it together. Yeah.
He knows he knows what Big Ten teams are about. He's lost to them in national championship games, I think in their bruiser team, like, you watch the games they played last year, it was tough physical football.
He ran the ball a lot more than Chip Kelly. When you think Chip Kelly, you think, Marcus Mariota, you think spread it out, you think, but you're right. I mean, I think he's adapted with the times a little bit, but that goes back to this whole expansion thing. Do you think all that the styles, like, the SEC and the trenches and the big boys, the Big Ten, the defense and the trenches and the smash mouth, do you think all that will get thrown out the window because all these teams from all over are coming together?
Well, that's
be a hodgepodge.
That's my point. Is so you're getting these they're big name teams, right? Like USC always ends up in the top 10 in the pre-poll. They're always like somewhere for no reason. Like, they don't ever deserve. They're just there because of their name. So now by acquiring them and having them play in the Big Ten, I think what you have created is exactly what happened to Nebraska. They're going to come in. They're going to get beat up. Maybe not the Illinois or the Indianas, but any blue blood team is going to smash those boys. They're going to smash them in the mouth, especially USC. USC is going to lose all key games against blue blood teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, their defense is trash.
You know what I'm saying?
So bad. Yeah.
Like, and in the Big Ten, if you can control clock in a game, you're going to win that game.
Yeah.
You're going to win that game. And so I think it's sort of a beautiful thing, because it's going to force these teams, because they're going to get these big losses. The coach is going to get fired, and then they're going to force these teams to play Big Ten football, because those are, and that's going to be a huge boost to the mid-tier teams in the Big Ten that get no love, because they're going to have wins against USC, Washington, Oregon. Those are, you know what I mean? And those are teams that always get ranked to begin with. So I think it's a genius idea to bring them in.
Yeah. Like I said, I think Caleb DeBoer in Washington, I think he'll get them. I think they'll come in and they'll get established quickly. I like Washington. I wanted Caleb DeBoer to come to Nebraska, but I think he'll get them right. I think Oregon and USC will have to transition. They'll have to change their mindset maybe. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, hell, I wouldn't sleep on Illinois with Brett Bielema, because he gets them boys.
Yep. Bielema's a great acquisition to pick up too. Like, I mean, the Big Ten is not a joke. Like, I'm saying, you got to catch me when I say because I say that. I re-listen to these episodes and I'm just like, man, I say it way too much. That's my word. And they called those word whiskers in our speech classes. Words you rely on. I am going to. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's meant like a word whisker in the fact like you're trying to fill dead air. So like you're, letting your brain catch up to your mouth essentially. We're going to. I'm just going to play a couple of clips. I think of this. And don't be mad because it's just it's all we really have for Big Ten football highlights. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to put it on the whole screen here.
Is this all 22 film so we can break it down?
Well, I was actually thinking, how do you get all 22? Do you know?
No, I don't. I think that's above where we're trying to reach. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be, I don't know. It can't be that hard, right?
I don't think so. I don't
all right.
know.
Can you see this all
right?
We
can look into it.
Yeah, I see this all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look into it. All right. You see the, I'm screen sharing here. You good?
Yep. I see it.
You see my screen share? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Just commentate as you see it.
With one guy, you've got to spread the ball around. You can see them already trying to do that here on this opening series. And they'll throw it out wide, caught like Nebraska right there. Terrific defense. Kuntz makes the grab. In the face of 4 Cornhuskers. Billy Kemp back deep as Crawford sends it away.
Oh, that play was so bad. Oh, Billy should have just touched it. We could have taken it at the 10, at the 12.
Here for details, he's here for executions. He's here to get back to where they feel like they belong. First down at 15, and this is Sims trying to get downhill.
See, this is some good stuff. We put good stuff on tape. There's good stuff on tape.
Down by Tyler Newman, who rushed for 128 yards and 3 scores against North Carolina in 2020.
I'll give it a little pause here. Any comments you got on that?
Yeah, I remember watching that back. That punt that took us to the fucking 1. I mean, Billy, I think, should have just kind of got onto it, taken a licking. But I mean, we got off the goal line pretty effectively. I didn't hate. I was really worried. I thought we were gonna just not move the ball at all or take a safety, but we got off the goal line pretty nicely. Like I said, Jeff Sims had that nice scramble to run it up the sideline. I mean, the tape's not all bad. There's some good stuff to take away from the tape. Our offensive line still like.
Oh, what was that one sack where the guy they did a twist and the center ended up not blocking anyone and just watching the other guy blow right past.
Because Ben Scott is supposed to be the anchor of that. Yeah.
I'm just sort of.
We need to get Fedoni involved next game.
Left 3rd and longs.
There's our walk-on
Minnesota.
Wide receiver.
You know what I love?
Scholarship.
You know what I love is the fact that Big Ten football. At first, I didn't like the idea that you play a conference game right away, right? Like I felt like you deserve a few warm-up games, and but now it's like the intensity that these guys were playing at the entire game. Like it's a great little peek into what's coming in 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
No, I love it. I mean, they've got Colorado, Northern Illinois, and La Tech after this game. I was kind of worried about opening up with a conference game, but after playing it back and whatnot, I'm kind of glad we did, because you're right. You actually get to see what you're going to be tested with, and it just puts a little bit more meat on the bone.
All right, May, I think it's time for predictions. Let me share the University of Nebraska's official website here. 4-year schedule. All sports, football schedule. All right, so this is your schedule for the year. Let me see here. Where is it at? First of all, I'm not impressed by the Nebraska Huskers website.
That
See
what?
this?
Look at that beautiful.
All right, so
picture.
I'll. What? This one? Get loud,
Yeah.
GBR.
That's a gorgeous stadium. Look at 85, 90,000 people shoved in that mother trucker.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. We'll have to go to the game. I think that can be a tax write-off for the company.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's nice. All right, so next week you're taking on the Lean Mean Dion machine.
We're putting our ball sack all over Dion. They're gonna get ran by TCU. We're beating Colorado.
No doubt in your mind that you're beating Colorado.
Yeah, we're beating Colorado.
What happens here if this is a loss? What does that do to the demeanor of the season? 2 straight losses out of the gate.
To be honest with you, I mean, most of us Nebraska fans are totally expected to go 3 wins. So, I mean, if we lose this game, I mean, I'd be shocked because they brought in about 87,000 new players, and you know their depth up front and on the D line I think is kind of weak, but they've got really good skill players. Now they've got some flash and dazzle. So I mean it'll be
no mistakes in the secondary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they have a pretty mobile quarterback, Colorado?
Yeah, they've got Deion's son, Shadur.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player.
All right.
He's
all good. Right. So you're saying win against Colorado. No doubt in your mind. Yep. Win against Colorado. All right. And then Northern Illinois. How are you feeling about that? Feeling good?
Yep. That's a win. That's
a night game. That is a night game. You had 2 away games to start the season.
Yeah.
So is this
first time Nebraska's starting Nebraska head coach I think since the 60s has had his first game on the road. So that was
what you're witnessing here, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic excuse. It's a Husker excuse for a loss. So what they do, they don't come out with it right away. They just bring out little points throughout the explanation of their loss as to why they really, it really wasn't fair for them to lose. Just a little.
I didn't say that. I'm just dropping a little knowledge.
I think what we'll do is we'll end up clipping all the excuses, and then at the end of the year, we'll just have a little compilation.
Run them together.
Then Louisiana Tech, feeling good about that one.
Yes.
That's all right. So that's nice. You get 2 freebies. You get a little freebie break, and then the 23rd of September, or no, the 30th, the last week of September, it gets real serious.
I was at that game 2 years ago.
How did that game go? It was close, wasn't it?
We lost in the final drive. Adrian Martinez fumbled.
That's right, quarterbacks. Yeah. Michigan this year. So, and I think that's the game Harbaugh gets to coach in, isn't it?
Yeah, if he's because I think he took a self-imposed 2 or 3 game ban against
that was 4.
Wildfire, and all their little cupcake beginning games. But yeah, I think he comes back right before the Nebraska game.
Then you take on Illinois.
Yeah, I don't like. I see that being back-to-back losses.
Okay, so we're at
because it's a short week. I don't like having to play Michigan and then turning right around and having to get absolutely fucking throat punched again going to Illinois. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
And then we've got Nebraska and Northwestern.
The 100-year anniversary of Memorial Stadium.
Yep.
We'll beat the dog shit out of Northwestern.
What do you think about the Fitzgerald firing? Have you paid attention to that?
I think, my honest opinion, I think I like Pat Fitzgerald. I think now with society, it's just a bunch of fucking weak-minded. If I don't get my playing time, or if I can't, I don't want to earn it, so I want to do everything I can to put it in my favor. Hazing, I mean, yeah, I get it, but I mean,
it's football.
They're not going to find somebody as dedicated and loyal as Pat was. Pat, I mean, he played there, he coached there, he always had them competitive. I mean, last year was tough. I mean, their only win last year was against Nebraska, so that was kind of sad. But
well, and with a program like Northwestern, it was a 4-year cycle. He needed time to develop players.
Yeah, it's definitely a culture, class building situation there at Northwestern. But
Nebraska, Purdue.
We're gonna beat Purdue. I like Ryan Walters at Purdue. I think he'll get them going. I just not this year. We'll beat Purdue.
Michigan State.
We'll go into Spartyville and we'll win by 3.
Okay.
That's gonna be an ugly game. Where's the date on that? November 4th. You know that's gonna be miserable. That's because the game I wanted to go to this year, we still might, is the one on Saturday the 11th against Maryland, but I don't know if we'll go to that one yet.
Maryland gonna beat Maryland.
Yeah, I see us beating Maryland.
Then Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
That's tough because we'll all get to see what the new Wisconsin's going to look like with Phil Longo as the offensive coordinator, with Luke Fickell taking over the head coach. Wisconsin could be really dangerous by that time because, I mean, they'll have a whole season to get together.
Yeah, this is a problem with Nebraska's schedule is its final games are with teams that excel in November. Like the teams that really come together, like everything's figured out by that time. And like Maryland, not going to have everything figured out, but
no.
Wisconsin.
That Wisconsin game for me is a toss-up. I could see us losing it. I could see us barely winning that, but I mean, I'll give us a loss. Because this next game, I'm giving us a fat W. We're gonna go 2-0. We're gonna start a trend going against Iowa. But that's another thing too. Is what is Cade gonna do for Iowa? Are they gonna go back to their lowest rushing yards per carry and that offense of what they do? They carried the ball like 2.5 yards per carry last year. That was the worst.
It was absolutely horrible. Yep.
So I mean, it all just depends on. Plus, if Brian Ferentz quits betting the under, if he actually wants to keep his job and put a competitive offense out there, I mean, it could. I would like to see Iowa, like you said, back to those Stanzi, CJ Beathard, were like the quarterback you had to worry about, But with all their shit that they've been going through with the players suspended and players leaving, I don't know if it'll affect Iowa, but I mean, just as our rivalry together, you and I and everything else, I got to take Nebraska. I'll never say we won't beat Iowa. We can go out there with our volleyball team, and I'm going to say we're going to beat y'all.
Iowa, it depends. Do we have an actual O-line? Is our O-line going to be here? Now, our O-line is not seniors. It is in the third and final phase before it reaches greatness, which is
the caterpillar stage. Yeah, you're not quite butterflies yet.
Yep. And this is it's a 3-year cycle for our O-line and D-line. and it's staggered so that either the defense is going to be all mature and support the young O line, or the O line is going to be all mature and allow points so the defense can be allowed to make a few mistakes. So
are you worried? Are you worried with all the shit that has been going on with Iowa? With even the Cyclones are getting hit with all the sports gambling stuff, and players getting suspended and players getting kicked off the team. That could be just a little piece of it, but I really worry. Does Kirk have to fire Brian mid-season? Does that cross your mind at all? Because he had to sign that addendum or whatever in his contract, right? They have to average 20-something points a game, don't they?
I thought it was 17.
Is it 17?
Yeah, I didn't think it was 20. It was 17. And here's the thing, it's going to come down to this year, isn't it? That's what it's going to be. I don't know what else to make of it. It's obviously not working, but when it comes to, unfortunately, our defense, it is so good that you can, and here's the thing, Iowa fans are okay with averaging 17 points, because if we had averaged 17 points last year, we would have won the Big Ten championship. It was the best defense in the Big Ten. I don't care what anyone says. And the reason you can say it was the best defense, just because I think it ended up being second in the Big Ten. And I think it was 5th overall nationwide. But the only reason that is because look at time of possession that our defense had to be out there. There was games where there's again. I can't remember who we were playing. I think it was Michigan. We were playing. And it was the most beautiful attempt at a defense keeping us in a game where finally, after all the chatter, we brought in our backup quarterback, which Kirk Ferentz had hated. He fumbles the ball first snap. He threw a pick. First play out on the field for weeks, chanting his name, comes out, immediately throws a pick. We're like, all right, all right. Comes out the second, and so we're in this, and this is against Michigan. I'm pretty sure it was Michigan or Ohio State. I can't remember who we were playing. It was big blue blood, and defense turns the ball over, and so there he comes out again for his second turn, and fumbles the snap, and defense again gets a turnover. They forced 3 turnovers in that game, and just no offense, couldn't do anything, and it was, as an Iowa fan, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking because the cycle of Iowa football. And when their defense gets that good, which happens about every 4 to 6 years, just a weird conglomeration of talent coming together that, and it's the Parker family. They're just known for doing this with the defense. They play 4-3 and good luck, good luck. And all you need is
care of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're unfazed. They're unfazed by what the offense does. That was the most amazing part of it. Is I was thinking, if I was playing defense, I would get a little pissed after the 4th turnover or the 4th, 3 and out, and those guys are like, all right, man, that's our job. All right. Offense sucks a little, but we'll get it.
You would think that locker room would be divided.
And it wasn't at all. It wasn't at all. Well, and that's according, but you could tell by how the defense reacted, it wasn't divided. Everyone was out there, our offensive line sucked. Everyone knew it. It was all young kids and injuries, not a lot of depth. We were going through a lot of issues. So we shall see what Iowa does this year.
When you have the best
right now
punter
they're
in the
going to be
country.
playing Utah State in
You got,
the world.
Yeah, what, Torrey Taylor or whatever his name is. I mean, that's a game changer too. That helps your defense so much. Like he's that 12th person on defense. Like he'll pump that ball and put him inside the 5, even on the 2, and it gives your
Every
defense.
possession.
Yeah.
How often did he do that to Nebraska? Like it's the most, it's coming too. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
You got it. I mean, like I've never had to worry about how good a punter was. You know what I mean? Like because no one ever thinks about that except for Iowa football. Iowa football is like built like, so when Ferentz first started coaching Iowa, this how he did it was everyone that is freshman talent. This is back when you could beat the shit out of someone on special teams, back before they nerfed it all. And so you would put, you'd put people like Chad Greenway in his freshman year on special teams, and you just run them and see how well they follow direction, see how well they see the field, and then if they did well, then they got put up into the positions they were getting trained for, So special teams was the most important. And the reason that's valuable is because it was your only shot to be on the field that year was special teams. So everyone played it perfectly. And that's a smart mindset to show the importance of special teams. Everyone has to play it. Everyone knows how important the role is. And that's why you get consistent good special teams. And then you have programs like Nebraska, who has last year you had the worst special teams.
Yeah, we've had our special teams has been so bad. That's why I like Rule coming in and saying that, like, his black shirts, he's gonna have his special teams are gonna have some of the best talent on the team on special teams, because you got to be great in all 3 phases. You can't just put kids out there on special teams and just let them go. You got to have talent on your special teams, because that's going to be a huge thing. To go get the punt down at the 5, to go help block for a game-winning field goal, you got to have talent on special teams. You can't just have whoever on special teams. You got to have some dogs out there, because it matters. It
does. Yeah.
I think
I don't. Who wins the Big Ten West this year? We can get predictions out of the way. Oh man, it hurts your heart to say it, huh? It's okay. You can say Illinois. It'll be all right to be outrageously wrong.
No, I'm. The crazy thing is, I think Wisconsin.
What's their schedule look like? Do you know?
I can pull it up, but they've got a quarterback that can throw. They've got a running back that is built like an NFL player. I think if that team gets together, they're going to scare everybody, because they think they're going to throw it 800 times. But Phil Longo, when he was at North Carolina, he had 2, not last year, but the year before, he had 2,000-yard running backs. So he can run the ball. Like, you know what I mean? He's not scared to run it. And you have a good offensive line, and you have a phenomenal running back. So use him. He is a Big Ten running back. The motherfucker's 19, 20 years old, and he's 6'3", 240. I mean, he's a man. So they play Buffalo today. They play Washington State, so that's 2 dubs. That's 3 dubs. They play Georgia Southern. September 22nd, they play Purdue, which is probably a dub. Gosh. They play Scarlet. They play Rutgers October 7th. Their first real challenge is October 14th against Iowa. And then they go Illinois. They go Ohio State.
You cut out there real quick, bud. You cut out. What was who was their first challenge? Yeah, who was their first challenge?
Iowa.
Oh, they play us early, this year. Yep.
October 14th.
That's not good for us. It's not good for us.
No.
Well, October, no, we usually got our shit by October. October, it'll be a slobber knocker. It'll be a slobber knocker. Wisconsin is a weird rivalry because they pretty much took our idea of a program and then perfected it, and then started manhandling us about 6 years ago, and it's just been really frustrating ever since. Because we always manhandled Wisconsin. We always had the better O-line, and now all of a sudden they're the bruiser running team, and I was like, I miss our bruiser.
You're telling
running
me
days. I really do.
Wisconsin would run 500, 600, 800 yards against Nebraska every time we played. We could, you couldn't even put a defense out there. You could put 22 people out there, and Wisconsin was going to find a way to run for 400 yards against Nebraska. Guaranteed.
Averaging 3.9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Nothing, like no big run. It was always just like bam, bam, bam.
I mean, just
yeah.
But I could see, I could see him doing really well. I see 2-3 losses on Wisconsin's schedule. I saw that with Nebraska too, and we lost to Minnesota week 1. So I could be wrong.
With the Wisconsin schedule, Ohio State, Michigan. I think Michigan State's going to be good this year. I think so? I think Michigan State's going to be good this year.
I think Mel Tucker's a fraud.
I do. No, not like. Oh, really? Wow. Reason for saying such a thing, or?
I just think Michigan State's bullshit.
Why do you think he's a fraud? That's
interesting. I don't.
I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. This was a pregame. Nebraska and Minnesota fans both chanting this pregame and as they left the stadium. I don't know if you saw this or not, but I tell you, this is what I think is bullshit.
We hate Iowa! We hate Iowa!
How we're in their heads. The season hasn't even started. Season hasn't even fucking started. And they're chanting, "We hate Iowa."
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's just pick on Iowa. Pick on Iowa.
You know why? They hate us because they hate us. You know what we call TCF Bank Stadium? You know what we call TCF Bank Stadium?
What?
That's North Kinnick.
You guys
Or
get
Iowa
mail
Kinnick.
there? Is that what you said? You get mail there?
Post office delivers to that address, bitch. Nebraska
This is my summer home.
Nebraska. This is the problem with Iowa is we are the Super Bowl to so many teams. We're the Super Bowl to Ohio State, Iowa State to Iowa State. That's Super Bowl for the in-state rival. We're the Super Bowl for Nebraska because you guys really don't care if you've had a good season or not unless you beat us.
We just want to
Let's be honest. Minnesota, they just want to beat Iowa. For years, they've wanted to beat us.
That's
because
you guys play for a trophy.
Mm-hmm. Floyd of Rosedale, the state pig. Yep, a big bronze statue of a pig that's been in our stables for quite some time, and it upsets them because you remember they used to share the stadium with the Vikings in the Dome. And when Iowa was on its bid for its first Big Ten championship, which ended up being co-shared with Ohio State that year in 2002, we had to beat Minnesota to get it, and we beat the shit out of them, like 42-10, and everyone was celebrating at the Dome, and I mean we may back in that day have taken down their goalposts and realized that we couldn't get it through the rotunda doors. But, we sure did give it the good old college try. So the stadium played like high-pitched white noise or whatever, like, to get everyone to leave the stadium like 5 minutes after the thing was done. And it was very unprofessional, like according to our announcers, they felt it was pretty unprofessional. And then we've just never lost to Minnesota. And then as of recent, remember when Minnesota was 6-0? I think like what was it, 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
They went 6-0.
with their 40-year-old
And then
quarterback.
and we had to play them, and then we were really sucky that year too. Had just not playing good football, and of course we just like beat the crap out of them to expose them for the actual frauds they are. So I guess they hate us too. So that's what, 3 teams that are your Super Bowl games.
Yeah. I mean, but you got to hang your hat on
schedule.
that. I mean, you got to, as an Iowa fan, I mean, that should give you joy that everyone just wants
It
to
does.
piss in your coffee.
It does. And the fact that we just have to remind you every now and then one person gets one on over us, it happens, all right. Good show. Happy football watching Saturday. Welcome back to college football.
You got any
what'd
games
you have?
besides the Iowa game?
No, I'm just watching. Got the kids here this weekend, so can't push my luck. This is the first time that the girlfriend has seen me in college football. So mode.
Ooh,
so I'm trying to ease her into it.
Well,
I was watching the Minnesota game, and I did yell a few times, and I got, she was like, "Oh, you're that guy." Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's how the wife came out when I was watching Nebraska, and she's like, "If you get so mad, why do you watch it?" And I said, "Oh, that's my first love." And I said that out loud, and she was like, wow, you said that? You have children. And I said, "Yeah, Nebraska's my first love." Yeah.
I made out with Nebraska football long before I threw you one.
Yeah, I was reaching for a feel way before.
It's true, and you were a kid when they won those national championships, so like I get it. Yeah. All right, buddy. What games are you watching today?
Well, I'll be working, so I'll be listening to everything. But I'm gonna check out TCU Colorado. I want to see Dion. I want to see what he does with his 80 new players. I want to see what TCU can do too, just to see, are they going to be a shell of what they were last year, or there's going to be something different. I'll probably check in on Tennessee and watch them just annihilate Virginia. So really tomorrow, Sunday, LSU Florida State will be very interesting because last year that game was really sloppy, and but I think this year,
high expectations for LSU.
Yeah, I think I was listening to the radio, and they said it was like with LSU and Florida State, like last year they were going through puberty, and this year they should be those beautiful people that like grew up. When you were in middle school and you went to high school, and you're like, oh, they got hot. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think Florida State and LSU, I think they were kind of the ugly kids last year, and I think this year they got hot and they got popular. So it'll be interesting to see.
We should do a wrap-up show tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Can you?
Yeah.
Or no?
It'd be tight,
if you can.
but I can figure it out.
Okay. All right. We'll figure it out. Maybe not.
Okay.
We can always do it some other day too, but it'd be sort of fun to talk about what our predictions were. All right. Have a good weekend.
All right. See you, buddy.